Hello again. Now idiot is our word for today because this story is about, you guessed it, an idiot. Or innocent, up to you, because I think I would consider this story to be both sad and a head scratcher. And feel free to comment down below your thoughts on this story, whether you think he's innocent or just an idiot. So without further ado, let's start from the beginning in 3, 2, 1. So meet our main protagonist for today, Elliot Eastman, an American. So Elliot flew to the Philippines to find love and settle down. And he is a daredevil, maybe, or he's just wild. And the earliest record of him in the Philippines is January of this year. And he wanted to live his life on the edge, so he chose to settle down in one of the most dangerous parts of the Philippines, Mindanao. And let's just say that war is the most prominent there. So he decided to stay there, and soon after he met the love of his life, and they are staying in a coastal town in Zamboanga, Mindanao. And during his stay, he began vlogging and posting it on YouTube, with his first video titled Living in the Most Dangerous Area in the Philippines, Red Zone.
Alright, we're out here, the streets of Cebuco. Look, this is my little wife, and she's very disobedient at times, but doesn't really listen to me all the time.
Right, so let me just pause it right there because my brain is starting to melt and my remaining brain cells are piecing out one by one. Like, bro, what is this guy doing? Like, settling at one of the most dangerous place in the Philippines. Like, you could have picked anywhere else. Like, 70% of the Philippines are yellow, which means safe, but chose to go to the bleeding ground. Well, moving on. Now his timeline is all over the place because he apparently traveled back and forth to the US, then back again to the Philippines in the red zone. And his character is really more on the life gambling idiot side of things, because while he was away from the Philippines, he visits some of the most dangerous cities in the world, like Liberia. And like Zamboanga, this city is very notorious for its criminal activities, and yet they still chose to go there, and making videos about it on how bad it is in Liberia. Like, what do you expect when traveling to a city that has a warning sign to it on travel websites? And I highly doubt that they don't know what they're putting themselves into. So after that, he went back to the Philippines again, to the same place, the red zone, and went back a total of 3 times according to his stream.
Yeah, it's like everybody's saying that, you should just go home. Like, this is literally my 3rd time down here, living in this house. It's my 3rd time. The first time I came here, it was like 1 month or something. For like 2 months I stayed here and then I went home. The second time it was 6 months I stayed here and then I went home, because of these kidnapping stories and shit like that. Yeah, I don't know if I believe it either. I wish I could just, yeah. Check. I know. I'd rather just travel around. Like, I like this country, but like, I don't like feeling like I'm stuck here either. That's kind of sucks, but I'm not complaining. Like, I like the situation I'm in. I'm just, I don't know.
And he also revealed in the same stream on why he is doing what he is doing, on why he is traveling places to places even though it's dangerous.
It's like, sometimes I do feel respected here, sometimes I don't really feel respected, so. That's the other hard part. It's like, I know if I went any other way, any other place in the Philippines or any other place in the world besides maybe the US. Because in the US, as an American, like somebody like me, I'm just a normal person, right? Nobody gives 2 shits, nobody thinks anything of it. But if I go to anywhere else in the world, maybe, people are gonna treat me good. People are gonna treat me nice. For the most part. And at least anywhere in the Philippines, I know that. And if I'm not being treated well, I know I just have to move, so. And then I can find a place where people will treat me well, because I know that's how the Philippines work.
I think he's like the grown-up version of Kick Butowski, the suburban daredevil, but he's like the red zone province daredevil now. So you can kind of piece together the mindset of Elliot. He seeks attention, because in the US, no one cares. No attention. And the only thing that has attention is when you go to a different country that you look very different to the people. So you gain that much attention. And he took it one step further and not just went to a country that he looks very different at, he went to a place that is so dangerous because they are prone to get ransomed there that foreigners are basically non-existent at that place. And he again shows how fully aware he was of that.
But I feel like I've been staying in this area for so long to the point where people, I don't even know if people like me anymore. Maybe they want bad things to happen to me now. It's like that's how I'm starting to think. So it's like, it's really not good. I do have many. Just in case, like the last time. I don't really know because everybody's telling me right now there's people out there planning to come get me, bro. No, but that's true though. There's people coming here to tell my family that there's people that want to kidnap me or they're threatening to kidnap me or stuff like that. Like every day this is happening. This is like a real life thing for me here, and that's why no foreigners or there's no tourists staying here because they're smarter than that. But for me, I've been living here. I've been taking this chance. You know, even last night, I'm scared a little bit. I'm scared.
And to add even more smoke to the smoke signal, he talks about his money lending business on his stream.
The guy who we lent money to, he returned our money. When we lent him $21,400 and he came back with $23,500. So a little extra. We sent him back with $35K. Yeah. Should be seeing a little bit extra profit off of this. Maybe in 1 month we'll have already 3,500 profits. You know.
So he's basically like holding up a flare in one hand and holding up money on the other and saying, "Come get some of daddy's money." Like, bro. Okay. So let me just explain to you a little on how people in the Philippines think about foreigners to kind of understand how dangerous the situation that he is in at that moment. Now in the Philippines, it's a common perception of people that you have to study hard to either find a high-paying job or even better, work abroad, because in other countries like America or Europe, the currency exchange is high. So people always presume that if you hold like $1 or a pound in your hand, they're gonna be like, that's literal gold. It's like finding an oil field, it's that valuable. Well, to some extent, it is. And that became the common mindset of Filipinos, especially boomer Filipinos, that you can't achieve financial success in the Philippines. It has to be anywhere else but the Philippines. So like if you worked in countries like USA, you succeeded in life. You'll be seen as like Elon Musk or a big floating cash bag or something. And there's always this brainworm that's stuck in their head that's like, oh, they're working in other countries. They're a god. They're like King Midas with unlimited riches and the golden touch where everything they touch turns into liquid assets. And that kind of mentality is a pretty common thing in the Philippines. And that's for Filipinos working abroad. So can you imagine those people saw foreigners that is born and raised in those powerful countries? Well, they are considered to be equivalent to a walking piggy bank. So like if you see a white guy or any other foreigners that looks different from a Filipino walking around, I can guarantee you that some people are gonna think that guy is rich. And that's why it's pretty common for different races, especially white people, to get butt by scammers in the Philippines. And I'm not trying to be racist here, it's just a thing that I observed. And Elliot, being one of the few white guys, if not the only white guy in the area, will stick out like a sore thumb on a high crime rate area. So what do you think will happen? And by the way, I made a video about foreigners getting scammed in the Philippines, so please go check that out if you're interested. Thank you very much. And before we get into the abduction and what came next, let me add this story first. So it's not that Elliot didn't believe the kidnapping for ransom or kidnapping in general, because he made it very clear that he believes the kidnapping by telling his viewers a very detailed story of something that happened to his wife.
Well, you know, it's a real story. My wife, she was in school. She was in school, bro. She was in school. I don't know what, it was like 5th grade or something. And then these kidnappers came into their school with guns. And they took one of those young girls whose parents were from like Canada or something like that, so they knew that they had money, right? They knew they had money. So those people took that girl and they held her for a ransom. They held her for a ransom of like, I don't know what it was, $40,000 or $50,000, something like that. So this is real. This is not like, I know it's like some stories too, but this is real too. My wife had this happen to me in her class. She had a gun pointed at her head by one of these kidnappers. So I believe, because my wife told me that story that happened to her. She had a gun pointed to her face in 5th grade at school. And then they took one of those girls and they held her for ransom. Because her parents were like some higher up in Canada or something like that. Like probably nothing that special, I don't know, but like, because their parents were like foreigners.
And you know what's crazier than his hairstyle is when those threats and warning signs began, there's literally more than a month to start packing and to run for his life, but he chose to stay. And that live stream was published on September 28, 2024, and surely enough, in less than 2 months after that live stream, the thing he was scared of finally happened. So on October 17, 2024, at least 10 men came to the Eastman's household. And according to his mother-in-law, the ugly man pretended to be police and they started yelling, "Open the door! This is a police raid! Bring us the American cause he's the one smuggling the drugs!" And of course, all of what they're saying is all bullshit, and when they didn't answer the door, the ugly man in crappy police cosplay kicked the door down and immediately started wailing at Elliot. And of course, fight or flight kicked in, and in that moment, Elliot chose to fight and started resisting hard to the ugly man. And when they had enough, the ugly man shot Elliot in the leg and one more in the stomach. And this is the actual picture of Elliot's blood on the floor when he was being dragged off and chucked into a white speedboat. And this went international, being covered in many news outlets of an American national being abducted. But many assumed that he was still alive because, well, yeah, the area he was in was known for kidnapping, but they are not interested in eating him or doing, disgusting stuff to him. They are only interested in money, so they kidnapped him in high hopes that his American family will pay a hefty amount in exchange for his life, or ransom basically. And then a month and a half went by and the 10 stinky bastards involved in the scheme was all charged with multiple crimes, and 5 of those men surrendered to the police. And one of them died during a shootout against 3 of those men, while the remaining 4 is still out there somewhere. And when those who are arrested got interviewed, they revealed that unfortunately, Elliot Eastman, our protagonist, sadly passed away. Because one of those men said that Elliot died from presumably blood loss because of the shot in the leg and the stomach, they also admitted that after they saw that Elliot died during their escape, they just threw him into the ocean. Just what a depressing end to his story. You just can't sometimes fathom the evil within people. And as of now, his family is still hoping that if his body is not found, there's still hope that he is still alive. And the best case scenario now is probably when Elliot's lifeless body got chucked into the ocean, he was secretly rescued by an Atlantean and recovered in the lost city of Atlantis and became a citizen there. Well, seems like a stretch. Who knows? And screw also those who are blaming the wife for all of this. Like, I read a comment saying that the wife is weird because she hasn't said anything at all, that she must have been behind all of this, the evil mastermind, the cat holding maniac sitting beside the fireplace maniac. But I do have a reason on why I think she wasn't involved in any of this, because why the hell, divers, will the wife let her husband get kidnapped for ransom? Because of money? But it's actually more profitable for her to be by his side rather than getting ransom money from his family, because her husband is the moneymaker. And even if she doesn't love him, she can still get more money from him being alive rather than having him kidnapped and killed. Like, he's the money glitch per se. So why would you eliminate that? Like, she's gonna be living a better life with him than taking the ransom money that they are accusing her of. Like, it's so stupid to blame the wife for all of this. And I think it's highly unlikely for her and her family to be involved in any way, shape, or form in Elliot's kidnapping. Now, my final take on this is I feel really bad for what happened to him, but he is a mega idiot for even coming there. Like, why didn't he took his wife elsewhere so they both could be together without danger? And he knew what could and would happen to him, and he just stayed there and had the balls to talk about his money lending business, talking about huge doubloons that they had live. So, like, you could consider this 95% his fault. But yeah, fortunately, this served as a wake-up call for all of the few foreigners in the area. Thank God.
I'm retired. I was a United States Marine. I chose to live here to be with my wife. I've been here in this area for 2 months. When I heard about it, I was like, well, it's a terrible thing, so I stayed home.
So that's unfortunately is the end of his journey and our time together. So please, let this be a lesson, but it's pretty much common sense at this point that if you are planning to travel somewhere, please do your research. And if you see a sign that says don't go there, please don't go there. Please don't be like Elliot here and get yourselves kidnapped for ransom. So yeah, that's all there is to it. Thanks for watching. Bye.